Okay, so for those of y'all that have never watched my channel before, I go by King Elijah. And I just want to say this real quick. This by far is the most disturbing and just horrific piece of content that I've ever done. And I've been doing YouTube videos for a little bit over a year and some change. I started towards the end of 2022. And I don't record videos like I should. I be working too much, but I'm going to try to get more consistent. So y'all do me a favor, hit the subscribe and all that good stuff. I have an update on the Mahogany Jackson case. For those of y'all that are not aware, a young black girl in Birmingham, Alabama by the name of Mahogany Jackson was brutally deleted last week sometime. I can't remember exactly what day it was, but she's a mother. She was a mother. She has a 3-year-old little boy, I believe. And there were 8 people involved in her execution. And I am going to read the entire article from AL.com. I think it's Alabama.com. It's a local newspaper out there in the Birmingham area, if I'm not mistaken. And for those of y'all that have watched my content, y'all know I'm from Georgia, so I'm from right next door. And I've been to Birmingham many times. Birmingham is hood. And the people that did this to her, they all deserve to rot in prison. And some of them even deserve to be executed, in my opinion. Yes, I support capital punishment. But anyway, this story is extra disturbing because it's not getting that much major media attention. If the races were different, if it was a white group of people that did this to a black person, it would be all over, the mainstream media. And my question is, why are we as black people not nearly as outraged behind a story like this because it was us doing it to us? But if we all know if this story was reversed, if there was a white group of people that, because it was black men and black women that did this. I think it was like eight people total, 5 black males, 3 black females. I might be wrong. It might have been 4 and 4, but some of the females look so masculine. I can't tell who is who on the mug shot, but they do have their names listed, and I will read off some of their names. But y'all, this is absolutely egregious what they did to this girl. And as you saw in the thumbnail, I put y'all are worse than the KKK. Because even though the KKK did some horrible stuff to black people back in the day, they did lynch a lot of black men. But most of the time when they violated a black woman, they would at least let her live. I'm not saying that the KKK was good, but this is worse than what the KKK would do to a black woman, because y'all did it to your own people. And I know there is a motive behind it. They say she stole a gun, or it's a little bit more to it than this wasn't just no random act of violence, but they took it way too far. It didn't have to go this far. So I am going to go ahead and read the Alabama.com article, and I'm going to read it in its entirety. And I want you guys to, if you don't have the stomach for it, then you may want to click off, because there's some very graphic details in the article. They did this girl awful. They did her awful. The last story I did like this was when they took out that girl down there in Mexico. What's her name? Shanquilla Robinson or something like that, from North Carolina. They beat her to death. This is far worse. And then these idiots had the nerve to record it on the cell phone. So I'm about to show you the article. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to come back with my closing remarks. Okay, it says, Mahogany Jackson knew she was going to die after abduction. Torture over stolen gun, prosecutor said. So according to the prosecutor in this case, she was deleted over a conflict about a stolen gun. They say she stole a gun from one of the suspects in this case, and they even say she made him take his clothes off during the encounter. I don't know all the details surrounding that, but according to, like I said, this is from Alabama.com. Mahogany Jackson, a Birmingham woman tortured for hours before she was fatally shot in the back of the head, likely knew she wasn't going to survive the abduction, a prosecutor said Wednesday. The 20-year-old mother of a 3-year-old daughter, okay, I was wrong, she had a little girl, not a little boy, was so terrified by the physical and sexual attacks, most caught on video recorded by the suspects, that she had a bowel movement on the floor. The fact that the victim defecated herself around the time she was being ordered to shower speaks to her level of knowledge of what is about to happen to her, Jefferson County Deputy District Attorney Teresa Hendricks said in court Wednesday, which was she was not going to leave ever, and she was going to die. Y'all, she defecated on herself. And for those of y'all that don't know, this has never happened to me, but I have heard of people being so afraid during certain situations, especially when they're at a juncture in their life where they feel like they're going to lose their life. Humans and animals will oftentimes use the bathroom on themselves. It just happens. It's just a physiological response to fear. 3 of the suspects, Brandon Pope, age 24, Francis Ace Harris, 25, and Jeremiah Kodak McDowell, 18, were charged with capital murder during a first-degree kidnapping and capital murder during first-degree sodomy. 5 others are charged with felony murder: Tasia Lewis, 26, Sanaya McCall, 23, Giovanni Clapp, 23, Blair Green, 25, and Ariana Lachey Robinson, 23. So all these suspects range in age from 18 to 26. And from what I'm seeing, Ariana, Tasia, Sanaya, it looks like 3 out of 8 of them are females, like I said. Lewis and Clapp were also initially charged with second-degree assault for allegedly pistol whipping Jackson. Pope, Harris, McDowell, Lewis, Clapp, and Robinson were in court Tuesday. Green and McCall's preliminary hearings are set for March 18th. Birmingham homicide detective Mark Green testified for hours Wednesday, detailing how a witness came forward early in the investigation with videos, evidence, and location of Jackson's body. That witness, Green said, came forward to clear his name after he felt he had been accused on Facebook as being involved in Jackson's disappearance. Green said Jackson possibly stole a gun from someone, and someone had then stolen it back from her, and she was upset. That, he said, may have led to her violent death. The detective also said one of the suspects discovered by looking at Jackson's phone that she had messaged family members saying she was being held hostage and sending them her location. It was at that point, Green testified, alleged shooter Harris said she ain't going nowhere. When the hearing ended, the judge found probable cause to send the capital murder during a kidnapping charge for Pope, Harris, and McDowell to a grand jury. That's a picture of her family at a candlelight vigil. Okay, let's scroll down. Bill also bound over the capital murder during a rape sodomy for Harris, but dismissed the capital murder during a RAPE sodomy charge against Pope and McDowell. It's a lot of details. I'm not going to read every little line in here. But the investigation began just before 8 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, February 25th. Okay, so it wasn't a week ago. It was about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago. Jackson mentioned family members that she was being held hostage in apartment 3 at Serenity Apartments in Southwest Birmingham. Jackson's friend Lewis lived there. Her body was found in the early morning hours of Monday, February 26, under mattresses at an illegal dump site in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue known as Dead Man's Road. Okay, I wanted to let y'all hear some of these graphic details about what they did to her. Okay, here we go. Detective Green testified that during the early morning hours, Pope made a statement to the effect of kill her or do something to her. That bitch made me strip. So apparently, like I said, she stole the gun from one of these guys, and this, I guess they are like a gang or something. And when she stole the gun from him, she made him strip. So this was some street beef that got out of control. I understand they wanted to retaliate, but she did not deserve for them to do what they did to her, especially with them all being so young. At some point, the attacks began on Jackson. One of the videos taken outside Pope's house showed Lewis and McCall stomping and spitting on Jackson. They were stomping on her, spitting on her. One guy was on top of her, straddling her, hitting her in the face. At one point, Lewis was straddling Jackson while punching her in the head, like I just said. The video shows Jackson saying that her attackers had won and to just let her go. So she was pleading with them, saying, y'all got it, can y'all let me go? Throughout the assault at Pope's house, Jackson was stripped, kicked, punched, spat on, and dragged by her hair to a vehicle. McCall was seen on the video yelling for someone to pop the trunk. He was recording at that point. Jackson was then moved to Serenity Apartments where Lewis and McCall were roommates. 4 more videos were recorded there. Mahogany Jackson was then shown being forced to perform oral sex on defendant Blair Green, Lewis, and McCall, the detective said. So basically, y'all, they had her in handcuffs and they had her at gunpoint. They had a gun to her head and they were forcing her to give oral to 3 of the guys that were involved in this assault, which led to her deletion. Lewis, Detective Green said, was holding the back of Jackson's head and McCall was holding the gun and recording the assault. The detective testified Wednesday that Jackson was told to hurry up because she had another one to perform oral sex. So they were saying, hurry up, you got to do him. Hurry up, you got to do him. Whoop, 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 whoop. One person named Clapp said he was present and urging on the assault, saying, Jackson, you better do it right. Green said he received several new videos early Wednesday, just hours before the hearing. One of them showed Jackson in handcuffs being forced into the bathroom at gunpoint and told to clean herself up. So I guess that's where she defecated on the floor before they made her get in the shower. Moving on down. Okay, that's the end of the article right there. It says, Pope told police he was driving Harris's Chevrolet Malibu and Jackson was told they were going to Dead Man's Road to clean trash out of Harris's car before taking her home. So one of the suspects said to one of the other suspects they're going to take her home, but they didn't take her home. Pope and McDowell said they, including Jackson, were cleaning out the trash out of Harris's vehicle when Harris walked up behind Jackson and shot her in the back of the head, execution style. Green said when Jackson's body was found, she was near the woods line with a gunshot wound to the back of her head, bleeding on a rock. And y'all, that's the article from Alabama.com. I'm finna finish up and give you my last thoughts on this. So that was the article. Like I said, it was some very graphic details. They did that girl awful. And like I said, it sounded like some street beef that just got out of control. And what's disturbing is out of 8 people, didn't one of them say, hey y'all, we doing a little too much. Let's calm down. You know, after they start beating on her, they could have just been like, y'all, man, we ain't finna do too much more than this. Like, didn't nobody think to stop doing what they were doing. And then they had the nerve to put it on video. There was somebody, they say it was several videos made, so several people had to have their phones out recording it. I don't know why y'all Negroes like recording yourself committing felonious behavior. These are felonies. They're all going to spend the rest of their lives in prison. If not all of them, most of them. Especially the whoever pulled the trigger. And I think all of them are incarcerated in Birmingham or Jefferson County Jail with no bond, which they should not get a bond. Out of all 8 of them, none of them deserve a bond. They took it too far. They took it way too far. And didn't nobody think to say, man, y'all, let's chill out. Let's chill out. And you got to ask yourself, what are y'all accomplishing? What did y'all accomplish by taking that girl out over a gun she stole? Like I said, I understand y'all wanted to retaliate. I'm not saying, I'm not advocating for no gang violence or none. I don't believe in promoting violence. The only type of violence that I have no problem with is when it's self-defense. When you are protecting your life and you got to be violent to protect your life. That's the only time I promote violence, or I'm okay with violence, because you got to survive. But wasn't nobody life in danger. She wasn't putting nobody life in danger. You know, she stole one of y'all guns. Okay, you got the gun back. Take that L and move on. But this is the new generation, bro. Like, I mean, I understand it's street beef that just got out of control, but this is awful. This is awful. The girl, you know, used the bathroom on her. Y'all recorded the whole thing, man. Ain't no getting out of this. Y'all not getting off. Ain't no way y'all getting off from this. And like I said, at least when the KKK would violate black women, most of the time they wouldn't delete them. It was a story out of Tallahassee, Florida, back in I think the 50s or 60s. Y'all can look it up. It's the RAPING of a black woman by the name of Betty Owens. You can look it up. Just type it in, and RAPING of Betty Owens, and it was in Tallahassee, Florida, Leon County, Florida. And it was her, another black woman, and two black men. They were all FAMU students. Some of y'all may know the story I'm talking about. And there were, I think, 4 white supremacist men that pulled up, made the black men leave. One of the black women was able to escape, but Betty Owens did not escape. And the reason why this was one of the most significant cases involving a black woman being violated by white supremacists back in that day was because they actually brought those men to justice. That was one of the first cases like that where the white supremacists were held accountable. You know, back in those days, most of the time, it wasn't no justice. If some white supremacists violated a black woman or lynched black men, it was just what it was. But they actually brought charges against them and they convicted them. I don't know what their sentence was, but the fact that they actually got justice for that woman was significant for that time period. And they gang violated her. They all took turns violating her. Look it up if you ain't never heard of it. And they let her go. But these dudes, back in the end of February over in Birmingham, they deleted her after putting a pistol to the back of her head and saying, do him, do him, do him, with her mouth. And I think they say one of the dudes actually penetrated her as well while she was handcuffed. So maybe they a gang, I don't know, but they're gonna be a gang incarcerated for the rest of their life after some stupid crap like this. And the Jefferson County law enforcement that's on top of this case, they said this is one of the worst things they've ever seen. And I said, I'm sure it is. 18 to 26 are the ages. 18 to 26. We beyond the point of saying we got to do better. It's only one way for black people to get out of this situation. And I'll do another video about what that ultimate solution is. And it'll work. I don't think a lot of black people going to like it. But it's only one solution at this point. Talking about we got to do better, that ain't going to stop it. Black folks ain't just going to stop doing no crap. This ain't the first time something like this done happen. It won't be the last. But we can't talk about no white supremacy. You can't blame this on no white supremacy at all. White supremacy ain't got nothing to do with this. I don't want to hear nothing about white supremacy no more. This is worse than white supremacy, in my opinion. It's worse. But that's all I got to say, man. I mean, just doing this story is hard enough because it's so egregious. Y'all like it on the way out? Share, subscribe. Peace.
The Birmingham Police Department would like to announce the arrest of 7 suspects in the murder investigation of Mahogany Jackson that occurred on Monday, February the 26th of 2024. The following have been formally charged. Giovanni Clapp, black female of Birmingham, Alabama, has been charged with felony murder, kidnapping first, sodomy first, assault second with injury. Blair Green, black male of Birmingham, Alabama, has been charged with felony murder, kidnapping first, sodomy first. Tasia Lewis, black female of Birmingham, Alabama, has been charged with felony murder, assault second with injury with a weapon. Francis Harris, black male of Birmingham, Alabama, has been charged with capital murder, sodomy first, capital murder, kidnapping first. Sanaya McCall, black female of Bessemer, Alabama, has been charged with felony murder, kidnapping first, sodomy first. Jeremiah McDowell, black male of Bessemer, Alabama, has been charged with capital murder, sodomy first, capital murder, kidnapping first. And Brandon Pope, black male of Birmingham, Alabama, has been charged with capital murder, kidnapping first, capital murder, sodomy first. The Birmingham Police Department would like to thank you for the outpouring of information that we have received during this investigation. This case highlights the strength and effectiveness of the partnership between the community and the Birmingham Police Department.